It is Wednesday night. We are live. This is Stoppage Time FC. Remember the Facebook group, Stoppage Time FC, YouTube channel, Stoppage Time FC. But you already know that. Notifications on. You should be subscribed. Been a little bit of time since we've been together, but there's definitely a lot to discuss. You can't see the screen name. I don't think you all out there, but this might be a kind of a Chelsea heavy situation tonight, because I'm gonna take you all behind the group chat. There's a little bit of dissension in the ranks. There's a little bit of tussle and turmoil on the Stamford Bridge side. So myself, Joe, Diego might have to play like mediator in this thing.
Oh God, we are not
like a little bit of a mediator, because I don't like to see my friends like fighting. But this is Stoppage Time FC. Joe, Zach, Ron, Diego in the building. Our man Travis sitting in with us. It's March 1st as we tape this, fellas. What's going on? A lot to... Before we get to the Chelsea stuff, because I think, honestly, all jokes aside, I think it is the most interesting story in the world of football right now, to be perfectly honest.
The gift that keeps on giving.
We're going to get into it. Joe, how's everything?
It's good over in Man City land, in my opinion. That's if you listen to the noise from the media, it might not be so good, but took care of business in the FA Cup yesterday. The more important of the domestic cups. Sorry, Man United fans. Y'all can enjoy your Mickey Mouse Cup that you so rightfully talk smack about every time we won it. But now that y'all lifting that trophy, it's the first one that we won in 6 years, so we should celebrate it and all that nonsense. So I see y'all hypocrites out there. Congratulations. We will take care of the better trophies this year while y'all enjoy your Carabao Cup.
Listen, no trophy that changes sponsor every year is a big cup. Very clear.
So I'm good. If you listen, like I said, if you listen to the media, all is not well in at the Etihad, but the form that we're in, we're not scoring goals, but we're still playing the way he wants them to play. That will eventually come in more with more regularity, but just gotta fine tune some things and work on not being so precise all the time with controlling the ball, and just sometimes need to just let the ball fly towards the big guy up top.
Absolutely. Now we're gonna fly. We're gonna leave the country. We're gonna leave England. We're gonna go over to Spain, and then we're gonna circle back, because I want to save my Chelsea friends for last. So, Diego, how are things at the new camp? What's the latest over there in Spain?
So, still holding first place, although had a bump in the road on the weekend, taking a loss to Almeria. For the first time in Almeria's club history, they beat Barcelona. So it was big. Now, still sitting 7 points ahead of Real Madrid. It would have been nice to get the 3 points, push it to 10. But hey, you have to keep going there. But I think Xavi's got the train in the right direction, on the right rail. So no derailment yet, although Madrid wants it to derail quickly.
Right. So I would just say life over here in North London is pretty excellent right now. It's pretty good. 5 points up. Now the game in hand situation is now over, because our game in hand was today. First of all, we might see some Premier League history, because Everton has never been relegated from the Premier League. And I think it's going to happen this time.
They're dreadful.
very much like this is going to happen. They are, first of all, not only are they just bad, it's an atrocious team to watch. Like, I've seen fun relegation teams before.
Mm.
Watching Everton, I would much rather watch paint dry.
Yeah, I've watched Norwich get relegated probably 76 times in the past like 15 years, and every time I still am more willing to watch, watch Sean Dyche come back and be a caretaker manager just to see them get relegated again. Like and this Everton team, I don't know what is going on. I don't think it's all Lamp's fault. Like I don't think this team has any and it actually reminds me a lot of what's going on in our part of London. But the team just they don't have heart. Like they have no desire to go out there and compete for the club, for the crest, for the fans.
They played us and literally played 11 behind the ball for 90 minutes. Like, they had no intentions of attacking and still gave 4 goals.
Was that a Diego Simeone appearance?
Man, it was awful. Now, I had not gone 2 feet on their Arsenal title picture because our April fixtures are wild. Like, we go to Liverpool, Chelsea, City. I believe there's like West Ham who might be like our April fixtures are wild. So you're not gonna see me go too crazy on these internets because there's a lot to play, and April's gonna be like rough.
Why'd you name us? We're not like
no. Because anytime that's Chelsea has been like a tricky fixture for like years. No matter how bad it is. Chelsea is always tricky. City has always been tricky. Going to Anfield has been like we've gotten our teeth kicked in at Anfield for like 10 years. So it was going to be rough.
You know what else is always a thing? We don't lose to Spurs.
Here we go.
At their arena, or their stadium, whatever you want to call that god-awful place. But somehow, we managed to pull that off. So I don't really think we'll be a tricky fixture this time around, man. I don't think there's too much to worry about.
Speaking of Spurs, shout out to Spurs going out to Sheffield United today. Speaking of, that was a good time.
0 trophies again.
Zero trophies. But now let's get to the main event of the evening. There's some bad things happening in West London. And I'm going to let Zach and Ron are really going to kind of be like the stars of the show. This is not trying to put them on blast or anything like that. This is legitimate football conversation because I have not seen a big club struggle like this in a long time. Like, I know we've had some rough seasons for sure. I don't think we've ever gone like winning 2 out of 15 though. Or is it 2 and 4, whatever it is.
Bro, 6 goals since November 15th. 6.
Yeah. We've never had, like, Man City is not even trying to be funny. You have to really go back to like old Man City fans. Like, old Man City fans know about them struggles. But so Zach, Ron, I'm gonna let y'all kind of take over. What the hell is happening?
Go on, man. Get it out.
I don't know what is happening. The ship is sinking. And at this point, I'm convinced that my board is okay with the ship sinking because every time I look up, it's, his job is safe. Oh, no worries. We still back him. And for him to have fired the coach that I really love so fast, at some point, if you really care about winning, at what point do you say that you gotta have to take this L and say, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I had the manager that was right for this. I got it wrong. Because at this point, with these results continuing this long, I mean, Tuchel has more wins this season than we do with Potter. How does that work? How?
I mean, it's pretty simple math how that works, but
You know what I mean.
hey,
You know what I mean. Don't be funny. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But at this point, like I said, it's really a tough pill for me to swallow. As much as I think that Potter is not the right man for us, I hate the fact or the idea that my club could possibly fire 2 managers in one season. I truly hate that prospect.
Right.
But after you spent all this money, and even like one of the commentators said this past weekend, anybody should be able to coach this team at this point. With the amount of talent you have, there's no way, at the worst, there's no way we should be scoring this few goals. Even if we were losing, if we were at least scoring goals and fighting, I could live with it.
Right.
I could live with that. I understand it's a rebuild. We're going through a lot, new players, all that. I get all that. But 6 goals, man, 6 since November, 6. Come on, son. Like, no, he got to go. I'm sorry. He got to go. I hear all the injuries, and we've had a lot of them. But even with the talent that you've had against some of the teams that we've been up against, I can't excuse it. I can't. I just can't.
So 3 managers in a season is like,
it's insane.
That's stuff that happens when you're trying to avoid relegation. And this is not even me being funny. That's
You're right.
Been,
that's the only time I've ever seen it. You are absolutely right.
I think Watford one year went through 3.
Southampton's currently doing that. They fired 2 already, and they're dreadful at the bottom of the table. Just lost to Grimsby in like the 4th tier.
Southampton, shout out to them losing to the created team on FIFA. Now, Zach, let me go to you because you are very much. I mean, you and Ron are on the same side of the Chelsea fence, but I feel like there's an obvious difference in opinion. So I guess I'll just start with the question to you. What the hell is happening?
I think that, we are very much on the same page as far as like, this is not okay. This is not good. It's baffling to me. I am far more pragmatic and realistic about what situation the team is in when you have the injuries that you do. And then I just did a little bit of research before I came on. 1 player from Liga NOS, 1 player from the Ukrainian Premier League, 2 League One players, 2 Serie A players, 1 from the Eredivisie, 1 from the Brazilian B League, 2 from La Liga, 1 from the Norwegian League, and 1 from the MLS. All of those players are now, minus the Brazilian B team, are now with the Chelsea squad. And 6 of those 13 players have been at this squad since January. Now, you have 13 players and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different leagues, 8 different styles, 8 different managers, 13 different playing styles from each individual player. It takes time to mesh. There is a reason why traditionally the summer transfer window is the busiest time, because you have time to build that team camaraderie. Diego and I and we were just talking about this before the show. Like,
Yep.
You know, when you have that camaraderie and you have that same wavelength, that's the stuff that wins you games. That's why you see City doing so well year in and year out, because they don't have to think. Their back can be turned, you know, they could be facing their own goal and they know which way to turn and how hard, you know, to pass the ball, because they already know that the player is going to be there. That's just that type of chemistry that you build when you have time together. Um, it's it's hard, man. Like this is really, really hard for me. Um, I I don't know if Potter is the man, but I also am not naive enough to think that he couldn't be it, because if that was the case, Arsenal would not have Mikel Arteta right now. They could have canned his ass a couple of times over in the first couple years. And look at them in year 3. Now they're 5 points clear at the top. You know, like, yeah, it it sucks. It's a long struggle with, you know, not living up to the expectations that you're used to. Um, but like at some point results need to come. There's no way around that. You can't lose to last place Southampton. That is unacceptable, no matter who you put on that pitch. But there is a lack of heart. And Reece James just did an interview, and it actually, for the first time, it actually really pissed me off. Because Reece is probably my favorite player, but he had said that, you know, the players are giving their all in training, they're giving their all on the pitch. And I just don't see it. I don't see it, because no matter what the philosophy is, no matter what the style of play that they play, if you're giving it all, then at some point, you know, things will go your way. Now, during this current run of form of 2 of 15 or whatever it is, they have had some unbelievably bad luck. You know, multiple goal line clearances, multiple shots off the post, bad deflections, more injuries. It's Murphy's Law, right? You know, what can go wrong will go wrong, and that is Chelsea in a nutshell right now. It's I don't know. I really don't know where you go, and this is something we can talk about, and I welcome the opinion of everybody else. And I see your name, Ron, and you know, I joked with Joe about this. Like, I don't hate the idea of Jose Mourinho coming back. I really don't. You know, he's not long term, because he never stays in one place longer than 3-4 years max. He has the passion. He has the will to make his team play. But if you're Chelsea, say you get rid of Potter, whether it's now or after these 2 matches that are supposedly the determining factor for him, or if it's at the end of the season, who do you hire? Because if you wait till the summer, well, then you have a new manager who has a shortened period of time of only a summer to learn a philosophy, learn a style, learn play, you know, adapt to players that he didn't originally want, players that don't fit what he needs. Like, you know, there was talk of Enrique, Luis Enrique, but he's already allegedly he said that he doesn't want Nkuku. Well, okay, I already don't want you because I want Nkuku in my team. Like, you know, it's the double-edged sword that you know, not only do Chelsea fans have to deal with, but the Chelsea board and the owners.
Ron, let me ask you something.
That's my pick.
So-
I think this is, if you
Go ahead.
guys can't see him too well, if you guys don't know who this is Marcelo Gallardo. He
Is that Rivers coach?
was Rivers coach,
Mhm.
and the catalyst to, I think, Argentina producing the talent that helped Argentina win the World Cup.
Does that
if I were
hurt to say, being a Boca fan?
It kind of does, but you got to give credit where credit is due. And really, Gallardo has helped turn that club around. Before he got there, they were struggling with winning the Libertadores. They won 2 under him. And then he produced so much talent, and Alvarez and Enzo Fernandez are just 2 of the many. But there was a total of, I believe there were 6 of his players on Argentina's national team. So there's something to be said. Right now, he doesn't have a job. So if I were Chelsea, I mean, his name has been linked to Real Madrid as well after Ancelotti's done. I have not really heard any confirming reports that they would contact him or not, but I think he'd be a good choice.
Ron, let me ask
to consider.
Mm-hmm. Ron, let me ask you this, because I know Zach's talked about these magic 2 games that apparently, if the results don't go well the next 2 games, Potter is in jeopardy. And it's one. I think the Champions League, the second leg against Dortmund, is one of the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Is it simple as if he gets knocked out of the Champions League, is officially over, or is it more? Or is, I know for you, it seems like for you, it's like, all right, this is done. What happens? Is it that simple as Champions League? Once he gets knocked out, this is over.
So for me, well, one, let me give my piece on the manager situation. I feel like there's only 2 options. I hear y'all on Jose. I love Jose for everything he's done. I'll never talk bad about Jose, but personally, I'm past him at this point. I'm over it. I love him. Wish him all the best luck wherever he goes in his career. I'm good. I feel like personally, there's only 2 options to go right now if we do indeed fire Potter. I feel like you either find a caretaker, someone to just close out the season, because if it is correct that we're going to fire him if he loses these next 2 games, then at that point, you essentially have nothing to play for. We will be out of every competition, and it's not looking good to even finish within top 4 to make Champions League next season. So at that point, I feel like you can either hire a caretaker, or if you don't want to hire a caretaker, the only immediate manager I can see you hiring is Tuchel,
who's already pretty much said that he won't take the job.
Well, I didn't know that part, but I mean, well, then if that's the case, then again, hire a caretaker.
Okay, so
I think I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but if I am, then I want us to do a Man City where we figure out fairly early on who is taking over for next season, and they can already maybe start laying down groundwork during the rest of this season to prepare for next season, similar to what they did with Pep, I believe. But other than that, if it's on the table that we're going to lose if we lose these next 2 games, that Potter is gone, I can't root against him, because the last thing I want is for us to be eliminated from UCL. That's the last thing I want. The way this season is gone, if I can have one thing at this point, that is the one thing I would like to do. But if it does have to go down, considering Silva is out now and Badiashile, he can't be added to the squad. So our back line is looking pretty suspect for that game.
I mean, it's really not, but okay.
Okay. So either way, if we lose these games and he's gone, I just think we just have to find a caretaker for the rest of the season. We don't have anything to play for real at that point. I mean, I just don't feel like we can continue on the way we are with Potter. 6 goals, I just can't. And to the Arsenal statement about Arteta, because I've thought long and hard about this. And Ron can correct me if I'm wrong. That's his team, so he would definitely know better than I would. but I feel like I paid fairly enough attention. Even if they were losing, they were at least scoring, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly, even if they were losing a lot
Yeah.
and had a bad form or even were low in the table, because I believe they were as low as maybe 10th or something at one point in a few of those seasons, but they were at least scoring. Some of those games they maybe were in, but they just kept making mistakes and lost it. I could live with that. But the way we are playing right now, we couldn't score against Southampton. Like, how do I process that? Southampton, of all teams, right now, that makes no sense to me at all.
Okay, so here's my issue. You have all these issues with, the back line, but realistically, the back line, no matter who we put back there, has been arguably really well. Currently, the number one save percentage since the January transfer window is Kepa. That's in the Premier League total, period, bar none.
I love Kepa. I don't have any issues with him.
So, and we've had a rotating plethora of center backs. It's not like you're putting back there Lewis Hall and Cesar Azpilicueta. It's Wesley Fofana and Kalidou Koulibaly.
You know what? And I apologize. I did forget that we had Fofana back now. So my apologies on that. I did forget that we got him back now. Because my first thought was Chalobah, and the way he's been playing this season, that is not my favorable choice.
The issue we have is up front. It's not at the back. Now, if you want to talk about the caretaker manager situation, that's arguably the worst decision you can make, because now you're bringing in a manager to close out the regular season who's not going to do anything to benefit the current players, nor the future players or the team. So if Chelsea get knocked out next week against Dortmund, or 2 weeks from now, whatever it is, why not stick with Potter? Give him the rest of the year to see what he can do with this team, to see if he can get them start to click, whether it's too late or not. Because right now your current options for managers out there, other than the obscure reference by Diego, is Zinedine Zidane, who we know sure as hell ain't coming to London, and Maurizio Pochettino. And I'll be goddamned if that motherfucker ever steps foot in London.
Hell.
In a Chelsea uniform.
I mean,
I'll fly myself to block that.
I mean, I feel like I don't know, man. It is a suboptimal situation and scenario to be in. Again, as much as I talk about it, I honestly hate the prospect of firing a second manager. I really wish it wasn't as bad as it is. Again, if we were at least scoring and losing, I could take that. I could. I can't explain it, yo. Like you said, it's baffling. It's truly baffling.
So here's my thoughts. Here's my way forward. If you're asking me, which obviously I don't count, I don't matter. I don't know shit. But if you look at the course of this season, what are the two best games that we played as a team? This is an open question.
Definitely off the top of my head. Definitely against Milan. And
that's it. AC Milan home and away. That's it. It. And I'm not being funny. It is home and away. We dominated that, both matches. You look at that match. We played a back three both matches. Potter has not played a back three. So, especially if you have Silva out for 5 to 6 weeks, like they're talking, I feel comfortable. I feel really, really comfortable putting a back three of Fofana, Koulibaly, and Chalobah back there with Chilwell and Reece on the flanks, just like they did against Milan. And see what you can do. And this is assuming that Conte is not fit yet. He's back actually, like,
in
full training.
Yes.
Full training. And until you can get a holding midfield of Conte and EF5, you know, you gotta do something, because obviously what he's trying is not working.
Right.
So run that back five out there and put three up top, put that middle, that make a middle of Fernandez. I would probably do Fernandez. Ugh, gross. Fernandez, Mount, and either Ruben or Connor. Kovacic is just too slow. As much as I really admire his game, he's getting to that point of Jorginho for me. Although apparently Man City won him, so there's that. And then put who, I don't give a shit who you put up top. Like you could put 9 up top.
I'm going
it's not gonna matter.
I'm going to make a very shocking statement towards you, but I think it's too late, because if I recall correctly, he got put out of our squad. But at this point in time, who I would bench and who I would put up top for this Dortmund game if we could do such. I would bench Kai, and I would put Aubameyang up top. But we can't do that because we cut him from our squad.
Yeah, Aubameyang's not in the squad, but there are plenty of names that can play up there. I mean, you can put Zhao up there. You could put Raheem up there. The one thing I will say since Raheem's been back is the man is running.
Yeah,
I have not seen him stop running, which is something to be said that we sure as hell haven't seen Kai do.
Listen, the title of this episode, Joe, I know, put it up on YouTube. I want you to title this Chelsea Therapy.
Episode? Big time.
Once this publishes, I will update the title of this one for sure.
Chelsea Therapy.
I hate you all.
No, you don't.
You had, but the reason we talking so much Chelsea is because it is really interesting, because if you look at it, I know we get into who spent what. We don't count pockets, but that was a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That is I know we get on, we have fun with Joe about Man City. We have fun with Diego to a certain degree about the levers. And Barcelona pulls the levers and they sold the TV right and all of the things, right? But Chelsea spent an incomprehensible amount of money in January.
Like in the January window of all windows.
Forget the total windows. January by itself was unbelievable, and it's this bad. It's really it's an interesting story, because as an outsider, I want to get Joe and Diego here. The caretaker thing is never great, but I'm kind of feeling where Ron is going. Like, I don't think you have to stop the bleeding with Potter at some point. So Diego, Joe, ever want to jump in as an outsider, non-trolling advice, would you cut ties with Potter, regardless of what happens in the Champions League? Joe or Diego?
Joe, you can go if you got anything.
I do like that, even though the results as far as in product for goals hasn't been coming, I do appreciate that Potter has kind of settled on somewhat of a formation, and it's not a constant change between a 4-2-3-1 or a 5 at the back, or every other game switching back and forth. I don't think that was very conducive to consistency with the players and guys able to figure out what their role was going to be when they're constantly playing in a different formation and a different responsibility every game. And I was a big Potter fan when they signed him. I thought it was a great hire. I thought he was going to do really well with Chelsea, especially with all the signings that they were bringing in. But I wonder at this point if he doesn't have the profile to reel in the players that they have as far as earning their trust, their respect, because he's only ever managed mid-table type players at Brighton who are scrappy, who are trying to make a name for themselves. And he hasn't really ever had to deal with especially now with the number of players in the squad, the number of big personalities and big money players who are all feeling that pressure of, I got bought for $100 million and now I got to perform. So I wonder if that's part of the lack of heart, is that they just aren't buying in to Potter as the manager. I'm not sure if they have or not. I see the same things that Zach does when it comes to a lack of hustle sometimes. Raheem, like you said, has been doing well recently with that. That's what he's always done. He learned that well at City, as far as never stopping running and pressing at all times and all that good stuff. But I don't see how switching managers for a third time in a season is going to make it anything better at this point. So I think the best course of action for Chelsea at this point, even if you're trying to stop the bleeding, I don't think they're ever going to fall out of the Premier League and drop that far down the table. So I think for me, I would ride out the remainder of the season with Potter and give him at least a full, well, not full, but a good solid 35, 40 games with players that you bought specifically for his system before you jump ship and restart the whole thing over again. But they do need to start putting in goals. They got to do something different besides putting Kai up top. I know you guys like him a lot, but he is not producing as a striker. He's not one. That's probably one reason. So he to me should not be starting at that position anymore. They got to put somebody else up top, be it Raheem, be it a false nine situation, put Zhao up there. Somebody's got to do something different and be up top, because he's not filling the role as goal scorer, and you're going to need to find them from other places. So for me, I would ride it out with Potter and change things formation wise, maybe go back to what Zach was saying and change the formation back to what worked really well. But I think you give him time to figure it out. If it doesn't work by the end of the season, then we go a different direction. And you can't say that you gave him a full shot. You didn't panic and change course of managers too soon. You at least gave him a shot, because I don't see how things would get better bringing in either a caretaker or somebody else at this point. So
Trav's got his hand up.
Trav.
First of all, you want to know what would be the best thing for Chelsea? To do whatever to piss Zach off, so I can just laugh. That's what no, but on a serious note, I mean, again, I'm new to this. I'm learning this. But seems that it's kind of a little trouble in paradise in the management situation from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing on here is Ron and Zach just don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. But
That's an everyday occurrence, sir.
But in this instance, the question that I do have to ask is, was Potter correct?
Yes.
This is the MGR that y'all have right now. He's gone. Who would you agree, if both of you all would agree, who would you agree to manage this team going forward?
We would both agree on one name, but that one name isn't possible. I think we both would. I would welcome Tuchel back. I think that he clearly knows how to command. Joe mentioned commanding high profile players. He's done it. He's done it at multiple clubs. So I would absolutely welcome him back. But I think that the way that they cut ties with him and the current report is that he doesn't like the current situation with the setup with the squad. So that's why he would not take the job. And I get it, because they basically took his squad and set a bomb off and then teleported 13 new players in, and kind of went from there. Other than that, I mean, I'll see what Ron has as far as like possible candidates. Honestly, Trav, it's slim pickings.
Yeah. It's pretty slim. I don't know how much weight it holds that he came to a few of our games in recent times, because I don't know if we would be able to like buy him out of his contract, because I'm pretty sure he's still contracted to manage the German national team, but I would love Hansi. Enrique, I'm okay with it. I'm not over the moon about it, but I've also read that Atletico are possibly trying to get him as their new manager once Simeone leaves at the end of the season.
I heard Simeone's going to sign an extension.
I don't know. That would be interesting, because part of why they gave Zhao a loan with no buy option was because he has issues with Simeone. And it was more of a Simeone is gone at the end of the season, so we'll let you be gone until he's gone, and then you could come back.
I know that they also did that in hopes that Zhao was going to hit the ground running and run his price tag up, thus costing whoever, whether it was Chelsea or another team, more money to sign him next season. I completely blanked my mind. Hansi Flick would be a flipping home run. I think that Hansi was at our games to watch Kai, and no other reason other than that. But that would be a home run. Hansi obviously has the pedigree at Bayern, and then the German national team. I will say this though. Do you know where Kai Havertz plays in Hansi Flick's team?
Where? Up top.
Number 9.
Number 9 up top. Yeah, I was just about to say that.
So, and he does well there.
And, let me circle back to that, because I brought this up before. That is another reason why it kind of baffles me, and why I also kind of blame it on Potter as to why things aren't working, because even with working in a new system, and I get, new players, you got to build chemistry and things like that. But a lot of our players are playing in positions that they play in on their national teams, and they play way better. Understandably so. They have a lot of chemistry with those players, and they've played together for a while now in most cases. But again, in cases like Kai, my specific complaint is I don't understand how there's no goals. With you playing in a familiar position, I don't understand how you're not creating goals at this point. Because in his case, it's not that he's not getting service. He's just not doing anything or holding on to the ball too long, which is my main complaint about him, as much as I love him.
They're just checked out, man. I'm telling you, like there's no heart with these players, and part of me wants to just say F it, sit guys like Kai and run out, Mudryk, run out Madueke, run out all these Fofana, put Didi Fofana up top. Those are all guys that are fighting. They're quote unquote fringe players that are looking to nail down a starting spot in the future. Okay, well, let's see how hungry they actually are. And see that. And I know I actually saw something today that Mikel Arteta's first game at Arsenal, Bukayo Saka started
Left back.
at left back. And all that tells me is that Arteta saw something in Saka, but didn't have a spot for him. So he found a spot for him. He found a spot for him to play, even though it wasn't his best position. And that was, and I'll kind of go back to Tuchel. That was one of everybody's biggest gripes with Tuchel, was that he loved to play players out of position. We all know the infamous Pulisic as a left wing back, Ziyech as a right wing back, but in a way it's almost brilliant, because you see the talent in the player and you want to get him on the pitch, So you force them to adapt. You force them to take their game to another level and become better defenders while still maintaining their attacking prowess. So like it's hard, right? Like you want results, you want goals, you want progression, but the players that are out there aren't giving it. Other than EF5, who is looked really, really good, but man, he's getting dribbled past a lot, and that's part of him being so new to the Premier League, right? Well, that and Ademi is ridiculously fast,
Well, yeah.
but him, Zhao, I don't really see heart in any of them. On the the front six or so. If Mason Mount,
He's gone.
if Mason Mount can't find it within himself, for a man that loves Chelsea, for a man that loves being, everything about Chelsea, and he's bled for this club. If he can't find it within himself to fight for a place and to show that heart, I don't want you in London anymore. You can go to Merseyside and go to Liverpool if that's where you want to go. Like, honestly, it'd be a fucking fantastic signing for Liverpool, because the one thing they need more than anything is midfielders that aren't 84 years old. So like I think it really, and I joked, after we lost to Southampton, I joked because I put that GIF in there, of the replacements. What do you need? Heart. And they showed Shane Falco. Like, I joke, but it's true. Like, you need heart if you want to become a champion. Period.
I think that's what Arsenal did really well when they not to make it about Man City, but I think Arsenal going and getting Zinchenko and Jesus was a big get, because something that Zinny always brought to City was that locker room presence and that passion and desire. And I don't know if you guys have bought guys that are of that ilk, that and care about the club and really want and have a passion to be at Chelsea and have a passion to win and to prove themselves. And I think Arsenal made two really smart buys coming from those two guys who felt like they were fringe guys at City and felt like they deserved more, and they wanted a full-time job, and you can see it, the way they play, how much they care about being on the pitch and the team that they're with and their players and everything. I'm not sure you guys bought anybody of all the 16, 18, however many guys it was. I don't know if there's guys in that group so far that are at least getting playing time that you can say really want to be out there at all times and are going to fight.
Reece and Thiago are the only ones.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, and Aspie would be about the only ones I can name that would have that mentality on our squad right now. That was literally the three I was going to name. That's it.
I made that comment. This team does not have a Drogba. They do not have a Lampard, a Terry. Those guys that just demand. I mean, honestly, Gary Cahill, as not like premier caliber as he was, the man was a locker room force, and he forced the team to train harder. He forced, those practices to be awful, because he knew that if you practice hard and you practice to win, that would translate to the pitch. And that's just not, they don't have that. And I don't know if it's the fact that, Thiago still doesn't speak real good English, and that, doesn't help the situation. And Reece has been injured. Aspie's now injured. Like, you don't have that constant driving force of someone willing to push. I saw a joke that the best tandem that Chelsea could hire right now would be Jose Mourinho and his assistant be John Terry. Could you imagine practices Everybody would hate it there.
Now, now you talk about the managerial situation, and who's available. I'm going to say a name. Now, I'm sure everybody, will turn their nose up at this. I probably would turn my nose up at this name. However, if this is about what Zach's talking about, training, it's got to be disciplined. The training's got to get better. Guys have to be willing to go through it and really dig deep. You all said a name of a manager who will be available in the summer. Is the football the prettiest? Absolutely not. It is terrible to watch.
No.
Absolutely fucking not. No.
Absolutely.
Hold on.
I think the fuck
Hear
not.
me. Diego. Diego's a reasonable man. I'll talk to you, Diego. You're a reasonable.
I'm here. I'm all ears, man. I'm all ears.
Diego will listen to me. Diego, I'm only talking to you. I'm not talking to these guys.
Okay.
What do you think about Diego Simeone? Honestly, if this is about what they just said, discipline, you got to train hard, the fight, the grit, all that stuff they just said. The footballs, you're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate it.
And not even necessarily you're gonna hate it all the time. Atletico has had very good offense in the past. There are games, there has been seasons where they have been more of defensive. If you think about what the caliber of players Simeone likes, you have Diego Godin, the Uruguayan or the other Uruguayan center back, Jose Maria
Jimenez.
Jimenez. They are brutes. They're more physical. But if you think about the forwards that he's had in the past and just the quality up front with Saul, Koke, Griezmann, recently with Zhao, and it's, the with
Isco. Didn't he have Isco as well? I know he had Depay.
He has Depay now. Isco, I don't believe Isco was with them. He was with the Real Madrid, but Suarez, last
Costa.
So he has a lot of quality and a lot of attacking football, but yes, he solidifies that defense. And I think Mourinho has done that with Chelsea too. Mourinho has been a counter-attacking coach when his teams have called for that, that kind of game plan, and has done it to perfection.
That's a good point. So Zach, why Jose but not Diego?
Because Jose he's
the special one.
Oh,
well, yeah,
he throw up.
He has the history with Chelsea, and he bleeds for and he said it numerous times, even while managing other clubs, that he had said that when he retires, he will become a pundit to defend Chelsea because it runs in his veins. And when I watch a Roma game and I watch a Madrid game, they're not comparable. I see beautiful football when I watch Roma play. Not always. They're not that polished. But it's hard for me to watch Diego Simeone when his style is so defensive. Now I get it. It can win games and you can grind out championships. He's done it before. So I'm not saying that Simeone is not a successful manager. He's done it. He's proven it. That would be like, that would just be hard to watch. It would be hard for me to stomach 36 1-0 wins. That's just, I don't know. I like to enjoy.
And the thing with the Mourinho, he came in and sure, it took time to develop his team until what he made it. I don't think like you were talking about guys who don't have the heart, or you gotta have a lot of new guys that are just learning about the club. They just showed up. I think Enzo Fernandez, you will see that he will have that heart maybe that you're looking for, that that passion for Chelsea, like he's had with Argentina and with River Plate. He was developing that with Benfica, but he just got there, right? So he's just learning about the club, just learning about the history of such a big club in the Premier League. So I think give him the rest of the year. Next year, I think a lot of these guys will show you something different. I think once they're there and they're surrounded by the people, they'll learn and they'll develop that love, for the club, and hopefully it works out. Now, I have a couple things that I wanted to just touch on about the coaching, and then we were talking about Ron was saying about the caretaker. Right now Chelsea is 10th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so mid table right now. I've seen it with Barcelona. They brought in a caretaker in Setien. This was years back. That didn't go very well. And it actually brought a lot of animosity. There's just not going well. Everyone knew that he was just there to get through the rest of the season. I wouldn't go that route. I would go either the Man City route, where you bring in your guy. If you have a guy in mind and you want this project to go forward with, bring him in now. Or let Potter ride it out and then you start fresh next year. The caretaker, I wouldn't be my first choice.
I will say,
my opinion.
I understand your caution with the caretaker. But on the flip side, if you go down our history of situations such as this, we've been pretty good getting a caretaker mid-season and doing better than we were before we fired our manager.
Look, Roberto Di Matteo is not walking through that door.
Don't get me wrong. I understand. But Gus Hiddink did a decent job enough once Jose left last time, considering we were in 10th, and I think we still ended up at least in Europa League or Champions League spots.
He also inherited arguably the best Chelsea team that has ever graced the pitch. If you go back to Gus Hiddink's second caretaker stint, it's one of the worst in Chelsea history. So, I don't buy that for a second.
But question though, I did have one name randomly pop up in my head.
I wonder if it's the same one I'm thinking of.
Understand, I am
Marcelo Gallardo, guys. Marcelo Gallardo, please hear me out.
I am only asking you this because, given the situation that he was in the first time around, would you give this guy another shot?
Frank, no, what?
What?
Get off the show. Get off the show.
Hear me out.
Get off the show.
Just hear me out, though. Hear me
out. I thought you were gonna say an actual good name like Luciano Spalletti with Napoli. He would be your inside shot at Osimhen, but no, you don't even
Ron
Frank Lampard.
Ron wants to win a championship so bad, he wants to go to the championship to win first place there. He's willing to bring in Lampard.
I only asked, hear me out. I only asked, considering how I think he did decent enough to not have a transfer window and to lose Hazard. So I just think that possibly if he actually had the transfer window that we had, that maybe he could do. I mean, possibly. I'm not saying that it is not my first pick. It is not even my fourth or fifth pick. But random thought, considering how decent he did with basically nothing, I figured he might actually do something with something. And he definitely loves the club.
Just when I think you couldn't say anything more stupid.
Can I put in my 2 cents? First of all, hello, guys.
Hello.
Good evening.
Welcome, Julio.
He's returned.
There's another South American that will hear me out on Marcelo Gallardo.
I think Marcelo Gallardo is an excellent choice, but
Thank
I have
you.
enough. But, I might get kicked out of the show for this. If I were in charge of Chelsea, I would want to get rid of Potter, but
Julio, let me time out. If you mention his name, I'm
Hold on.
never inviting you back on the show. Just so
Listen,
we're clear.
That's
If
all
you
right.
mention his name.
Hold on, listen. Listen. This season's a wash, guys. All right. You guys don't have a striker. The players don't want to listen to Potter. I don't think there's anybody you could bring in to finish the season. All you want to do is stay above 10th place. I think that's a win for Chelsea right now, honestly. You guys have a solid squad. The team is a good team. You just need good football. And talking about South Americans, you need good football. Mauricio Pochettino.
Knew it.
All right? Bring him in. If you want good football with players that can move the ball around, which you have, that's the manager that you may want to bring. You try to bring Osimhen. If you can't, you got to make Lukaku work because there's nothing else out there. I don't think that Chelsea's going to go get, especially if they don't finish in Champions League spot.
They don't
if you
need
want
to
good
bring
football,
and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. They don't need to sign another striker. People forget that Armando Broja is probably the best pure striking talent we have on the team before he tore his ACL. And if you listen to, you want to talk about a player who lives and dies for his club, that's him. And I didn't even know this until yesterday. Raheem Sterling was asked who the fastest player on Chelsea is. Now, mind you, Mykhailo Mudryk just clocked the fastest time in the Premier League this year. And he said it's not even close that Armando Broja is the fastest player on Chelsea's team. Now, mind you, Broja is 6'4". You bring because I don't think anybody's going to want Lukaku next year. You bring Lukaku back. You let Broja and him team up, run a front two. I don't give a shit. Do it. And just let them cook. Let them see what they can do.
I'm just saying. I know you guys don't like him. Say what you will. But all he ever needed was proper backing, good wallet, and good players to take him over the line. And Chelsea has the players.
Mbappe and Neymar are not good players?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you put in that locker room. Bro, Ancelotti, how many other managers didn't manage that team that didn't win a Champions League? He won the league like everyone else, like he's supposed to. I mean, Ancelotti's not a bad manager. He's one of the greatest managers of all times. Tuchel wasn't a bad manager.
He got fired after taking him to the Champions League final.
Mr. Good Evening wasn't
Good
a bad
Evening.
manager. Good Evening wasn't a good manager. They've had top managers. Their problem is not a manager problem. It's a cultural problem in that squad.
One of the problem is death taxes and Neymar gets hurt before the round of 16.
That's on purpose. He does
it. It's for his sister's birthday.
Carnival.
He does it every year.
First of all, you can't tell. That's like literally like 4 out of 5 years.
No, and we're telling you, we know it's on purpose.
Listen, man, his sister's birthday party must be what's popping because this is
I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean,
That's the best investment that Real Madrid never made. Love it.
man, I would rather see Pochettino as our manager than to see Lukaku ever wear a Chelsea kit again in my
I think here I got another name that just popped in my head that I think would be interesting, that has had experience in the Premier League, who has managed in different countries, probably knows how to handle a locker room like Chelsea's. I don't know if how long term, because of maybe his age, maybe the energy, but I don't.
Are you
You
gonna
guys think
Are you
Bielsa?
gonna say Bielsa?
I think Bielsa could be an interesting choice.
Bielsa, he's an interesting choice. I'm gonna tell you another guy I think is an interesting choice, and I'm gonna come back to you. So let me forget to come back to you.
No, it's okay.
If you spent all this money on players, right? Like you spent gazillions on players. To me, you don't go cheap on the manager.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, and we've talked about some names, especially if they manage to not win the Bundesliga this year, which is a real possibility. It's a real possibility that, to me, if you've blown all that money on $500 gazillion on players, to me, you go through the back channels with Nagelsmann and just say how much.
If that's the case, though, I'd rather back channel and get Hansi.
Yep.
And that's just me. But I like Nagelsmann. I think he's good. I like Bielsa. My problem with Bielsa is he's got this gegenpress, like Uber run. Like, I don't think not many high profile teams are successful playing that style. And I only say that because you look at the most successful teams in history, they all play beautiful football. Bielsa, he plays this like
chaotic,
like, and it works. And Bielsa has been super successful. I just don't think it's built for an organization like a Chelsea. That's just
Bielsa needs to go to a national team. Bielsa needs to go to a national team, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you talk about with high priced players like that.
He's never had that. That's the thing.
Like,
the teams that he's coached, he's never
doesn't
had
like
the
it.
players like Chelsea. I
He doesn't like
guarantee.
Now-
I guarantee you get him on a team that has those kind of players.
But this
Bielsa,
is
he's a guru.
but this is what
That's fair.
Zach is talk about with the culture. And this is why I think, to me, you got to let the manager cull this squad again, because we know how dudes are. I'm making $200,000 a week. I ain't gigging pressing nothing. No, and
You're gonna see 11 Cristiano Ronaldos out there.
And that's not a diss on Bielsa, but we know how this rolls. And dude's like, I got bought for $70 million. I ain't tackling nothing at left wing.
Can I say one thing real quick about Bielsa? There's a reason why Bielsa has never managed one of these big clubs. He doesn't like big players. He wants players, do what I say or you're out.
Yeah.
And I great manager, love him. He needs to go to the national team, ride out the rest of his life in a national team. And he'll be successful in one of those Peru, Chile, Paraguay, somewhere like that. Mexico, maybe.
Although, to a lesser extent, if we want to talk about a similar style of manager, ETH United has that kind of philosophy. You're going to do what I say, or you're going to go. And he did it with arguably one of the greatest players of all time, and pushed Cristiano to the Saudi league. So and this
But
is me
Pep's like that too,
projecting,
though.
I believe it too. Like I don't know if Bielsa is the right fit there. He's never had the opportunity to. So at this point, like, fuck it.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he's a I think sure, and I get Julio's point too that Bielsa probably, even if they offered him the job, probably wouldn't take it for those reasons that it's a big club. There's a lot of egos there making a lot of money. What are they going to listen to me? I'm an old guy, but and maybe a national team would be a better fit for him, which he's been successful managing national teams in South America, besides Argentina.
I was just saying.
Bad run. It was bad luck, I think. But anyways, that's nor here nor there.
So,
But I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just, and this is kind of, I know we were joking around, but I would like to get thoughts from you guys. Why not consider Gallardo? Why is it maybe the unknown that he's had success in Argentina and South America and don't know if he can transfer to Europe, or is there some other reason? It's like that's kind of on the edge with Gallardo, because honestly I think he's the real deal when it comes to managing a soccer team.
So for me, it's kind of the topic that we're on, or I guess more so piggybacking off of what Ron said, where he more so suggested that you don't go cheap on the manager. Now, I'm not saying that he can't possibly do the job, because if I'm being completely honest, I have no idea personally. So I can't call it. But outside of that, one could argue, depending on how you viewed him before we signed him or made him our manager, one could argue that we just did the same exact thing with Potter. And it's not necessarily going well at the moment.
That's not the same though, because
No.
he was at River.
No, hear me out. I'm just saying, if you view Potter as like a very good manager or somebody who could take over this type of team, and we're referencing managers who can deal with big, high price players and all those personalities, then for argument's sake, with the unknown about him never managing, at least with Potter, we knew he managed in the Premier League. So you kind of say, okay, but now we're going to somebody who's never even managed in the Premier League. No offense to River Plate, but they don't necessarily have the plethora of big name players that you would find at a Chelsea or Man City. So then there's still the unknown if he can manage all.
One of them plays for Chelsea and one of them plays for City right now. So like I don't think that's a fair comparison either. I think
Can I give my 2 cents?
Go ahead.
Please. We're talking about, there's 2 countries in South America. Now it's starting to come out. We're talking about the talent pool of the world, okay, between these 2 countries. Gallardo, the reason why Gallardo won't go to Chelsea is very simple. For what Ron is, I'm not saying Ron, I don't agree with his view on it, but that's the view of the English people, period. I mean, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. But when we talking about, River Plate, we're talking River Plate is one of the biggest clubs in the world by name, by taking out players. So I have to disagree with my boy Ron on that one. But that is the view of a lot of English people in England and Chelsea fans who are not too familiar with said club, which is a normal thing to feel.
Can I correct myself? Because that's not exactly what I meant. What I meant was, I truly respect that we definitely get a lot of talent from those teams. Don't get me wrong. But most times, let me put it this way. When they have those players though, and not to say that all players make that mentality switch, because most don't, but when they have those players, they are not $100 million players at that time.
They're not $100 million players because they play in Argentina. And this is the
And they're
crux that
18
you
years old.
see. Yeah, this is the crux that you see all the time is depending on how their last name is spelled, you have that English tax, right? Jude
Passport
Bellingham.
matters. That's what I've been saying forever.
Yes, it always matters. It always matters. Jude Bellingham, phenomenal player, but his name is English, and therefore his price tag is higher. And it's the same. That's the reason that you don't have that. I think Gallardo's crux is going to be that he's just not well known enough. It's not that he's not talented enough. It's not that he couldn't be super successful there. It's his claim to fame is producing talented players in Argentina. Now, if he was given the chance in another league, it would be a totally different story, because you look at Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp didn't manage in the Premier League. You know, he did it in the Bundesliga, and therefore he was given that chance, and he's proven everybody that he can do it there. The issue with all these leagues is that they never sign these managers from lesser leagues because they don't want to look like an idiot. They don't want to look like taking the risk of signing a no-name manager, no disrespect to Gallardo, a quote-unquote no-name manager, and have it backfire on him. The reason Potter was okay is because he was in the Prem. And that's that point-blank period. That's the only reason. And that is what hurts Gallardo.
Guardiola used to be a no-name manager, and they took a risk on him. Scaloni, maybe do you know about Scaloni?
I mean,
they took a chance. No-name manager.
Also, there was an Ecuadorian soccer channel that I was watching recently, and they were talking about passports and whatnot. And two quick comments about what was just said. It's somewhat on topic. Argentina, it is the talent maker of managers in the world. When you go in any league around the world, some of the best managers always come from Argentina and Uruguay. That's why I think a team needs to take a chance on this Gallardo guy. Obviously, Libertadores is a massive cup. Don't let anybody play it down. Libertadores is the Mecca of America, okay? And as to the thing about passports, and this is Chelsea topic, that Ecuadorian kid, the 15-year-old, Kendry Páez, I know you guys have read about it. Yeah. If he was Brazilian, it would be a $50 million signing. He would have been in London yesterday. He probably would have started this weekend. Yeah. This is how important the passport is, and even it translates also to managers. It doesn't change. So Gallardo deserves it. I think Gallardo will take over Atletico Madrid one day. That's what I see. Again, back to Chelsea. I'm telling you, man, guys, Pochettino's your answer.
I wouldn't, no. Despite his affiliation,
just spiteful.
Poch wouldn't be the worst.
Donnie, don't do this to me.
I think Poch.
You and I are on great terms. Let's not sour this. Let's not do this.
Listen,
I want to know what Diego thinks about what I said.
As a neutral. So listen, as a neutral, I'm here for the storyline. So Poch, it gives me storyline. Jose's return gives me storyline.
Yeah.
I know as much as y'all object to the football, I think Diego in the Prem would be wildly entertaining. I think it would be water bottles getting thrown sideline.
Man, listen.
Tottenham versus Chelsea, Conte versus Diego. Oh my God.
I can't. Let me tell you what.
Where's my popcorn?
Let me tell you what I've done for these past couple of seasons.
Listen, we will have Stoppage Time FC watch-alongs with just me and Diego on camera watching Diego Simeone if it's Chelsea. It's just me and you. We'll watch.
Hey,
they'll have to
watch. I presented that idea to Joe and Zach that we should have watch-alongs, like game of the week, and let's watch some football and let the banter roll.
Let me tell you
tomorrow, El Clásico.
El Clásico is tomorrow.
We get three of them this month, right?
We're blessed.
I got 2 legs. Y'all got to play 2 legs in the tournament.
We're gonna make that
play a big one, right?
I like to watch it. I really do.
Did you
I think
say
we
that
did
that
it for,
Classico is coming up?
It's
Yep.
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
That's the
And
one
Copa del Rey.
that's the real big one, the danger one that nobody don't like going to, right?
No.
That's not
Oh,
that one.
No.
Okay.
Julio and Diego. Let me put y'all on. Trav, in his learning of football, found the Copa 90 documentary on the Super Classico, Boca and River Plate, and watched it like it's Star Wars.
Fantastic.
It's a good one. It's great.
Fantastic.
It's great. Listen, me
Beautiful.
and I can't call myself a fan. You know, I'm a fan of Real Madrid and Club Sport Emelec. It's an Ecuadorian team. There are teams I've shed tears for. I enjoy other teams, obviously,
As he wears
but in
Liverpool
South America, Liverpool,
you
yeah,
fucking poser.
because I like Liverpool. They're the biggest club in England. The real big club.
Here we go.
Anyways,
Here we go.
it's a fact. Arsenal's one of them. Anyways,
Stay on
in
top.
South America, when you're not Argentinian or Brazilian, you either appreciate Boca Juniors or River Plate. It's like the talk. You know how in Europe, El Clásico, Barcelona, Real Madrid. In South America, it's River Plate, Boca Juniors. That is El Clásico. No matter where you're from, you side with one. And my roommates in college
Documentary. Why got show it?
It's amazing. I've always sided with River Plate, even before this, all of that. Because my roommates gave me a jersey that it was awesome. It was great. So River Plate is bigger than Boca Juniors, bro.
That was just wild, man. I mean, like that's what it is to me. Like,
You have no idea, Julio.
it's just to me, like that's the main thing about soccer at this point. It's the history. It's the history and what's behind the scenes. And that's what I mean, I picked Liverpool as my team. That's why y'all watched the show yesterday. That's why I had on the kit. That's what y'all call it. But at the same time, it's just the history behind it and what they stand for. It kind of it's cool. I like it. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's cool.
I just knew
So-
Julio was going to pick this up. As soon as he said the history, I just said, God damn it.
Trev, one thing that you got to understand though is what Julio said is not factual. So
It's on my end. Again, that's why.
Remember, Boca is the biggest club in the world. Okay, it's got
all right, bro.
it's second on number of members, just behind Bayern Munich. Okay, and you got to remember, one of the greatest players of all time, Boca Juniors, Diego Maradona, then Juan Roman Riquelme. If you've never looked up any of his videos, you should.
Riquelme was, man,
I
underappreciated.
tell you what, we off in the group just put those names in. Of course, I'm gonna.
You gotta watch it.
I got you.
We got names. We got trophies. You want to talk about history?
Being recruited right now
Is-
to the book.
Is
Yes.
it true? Is it
Yes.
true that
Look at
Is
my
it-
logo. This is the only logo that you should be checking out here.
Y'all trying to make
He's biased.
me pick a
He's
team.
biased.
Look at all
He's
these-
biased.
Look at all
I'm
them
just
stars.
like, you know what?
Look
I
at all
just
them
like
stars.
the shenanigans before the game. I don't. The game is cool, but it's the shenanigans. Like, why they hate
It
each
gets
other?
real.
That's what I
People
like.
die, man.
Yes,
people die?
People
I
die.
seen it. So
People
Yeah.
die.
Matt
Yeah.
Matt Damon went to a Boca Junior game, and he said it was the wildest thing he's ever been to.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, that Matt Damon. So
Hey, Trev, it's not a bad idea though, because if you haven't been following along, Diego's love for the Argentinian League has spurned both Joe and I to pick up a new club and support in the Argentinian League. So, you know, you wouldn't be alone in picking up a new club and finding support and starting to try and tune into some of their games. It's hard. It's a lot harder to tune into their games, just due to availability. But yeah,
TYC Sports.
What is it?
TYC Sports.
That's
TV is there.
Okay.
On Fubo?
Yeah, on
Mhm.
Fubo they have
Oh,
TYC.
nice. Good. I have that. That's perfect.
Mhm.
Yep. But you have to. I think it's part. You have to. I think you have to get the special sports package to get the channel or
Man,
the
they take
Latin
all my
package.
money,
But
bro.
Diego, look who you talking to, bro. You know I got that sports package already.
you should got you. Yeah, you should have it. It's yeah. It's the Argentinian league is. You're not going to get it's not always pretty to watch. You know, it's not the European leagues where it's just all beauty. The pitches look like carpet. You're going to get, I mean, there's stadiums that are falling apart. Boca Juniors Stadium being one of them. It literally moves as the people jump, and it's going to fall one of these days, and it's going to be a world tragedy. And you got pitches that missing grass, because the teams don't have money to lay down new sod. And just the game is more physical. It is a lot of 50-50 balls and hard challenges. And you say, well, how do they produce so much talent and it looks like this? Well, it's such a high pressure game. They go at 100 revolutions per minute. It's insane at the pace of the game, but it's very entertaining. It is passion like you've never seen it. And it's not just the big clubs where you see, the flares, the smoke bombs, and it is the small clubs. It's, the neighborhood club down the street. They're all, that's how they live. I mean, so every game that you watch, you're going to get some form of a show. So that's my selling point on the Argentinian league. So if you pick a team, there's 28 to choose from. So in the first division,
Cool fact right here, guys. Cool fact. Talking about South America and whatnot. For any fans out there watching, I want to congratulate Independiente del Valle, an Ecuadorian team who won La Recopa, which is the winner of Copa Sudamericana that plays the winner of Copa Libertadores, Flamengo. It's like the UEFA Super Cup. It's the South American version. Okay. Independiente del Valle is Ecuador's never been a big team in South America. It's always been the Bolivia for many years. After the 2000s, a lot of things changed. Independiente del Valle was a club from a poor neighborhood that was bought out by other people, whatever. It's not even one of the biggest clubs in Ecuador. It's one of the small ones. And they do nothing but produce Ecuadorian talent. Half the national team now, all the way from 2010 and on, they're the second team to ever win it. Liga de Quito was the first one. I hate them, but they won the first Copa Libertadores for Ecuador in 2008 against Fluminense and El Maracaná. Okay, that's huge. And now Independiente won yesterday in penalty shootout against Flamengo, the Flamengo, the superpower of South
Brazilian
America.
powerhouse.
Brazilian power, and they did everything in their power to rob Independiente del Valle, and they couldn't do it. And they won in penalty shootout. So I just wanted to give those 2 cents out there. Finally, teams other than Brazil and Argentinian teams are breaking through, which is always fun to watch.
Oh, I'm happy every time I see a Brazilian team lose. That makes me happy. See, the Conmebol Brazil wasn't so happy. They were so sad.
Yeah. What I wanted to see was Kendry Páez play. I don't think he played. I saw the Ecuadorian media saying that Chelsea's willing to pay $20 million.
Yep, I saw it too. Ron and I were actually talking about it the other day.
Because I was like, all of you guys.
I was like, who the hell is this kid? And then I looked up and I saw he's 15. And I was like, okay.
He made his debut for the first team recently. I've been following him since he was 13. So
come to London, sir.
I just wanted to give my congratulations to Independiente del Valle. I'm not a fan, but I think every Ecuadorian was behind that club
Mhm.
because they don't represent their little town; they represent the country. So, kudos to them. Hopefully, my team one day. Oh no, disaster!
Ron, you better cut us off, otherwise we're gonna keep going until midnight.
Listen, no, this is the conversation. I do think watch-alongs are going to be. We're gonna find maybe a Champions League, a quarter, a semi. We're gonna find a watch-along for sure for all of us.
All down.
I want to see that
Some
Leipzig City. Oh my god!
Find some big matches on the weekend, maybe in the morning, because the 3:00 start time is tough for people with jobs and whatnot. But
That is
I
true.
love that idea.
But listen, go ahead, go ahead, Julio.
I want to say something.
Bro.
I smell blood. I smell Champions League spot coming. That means Bellingham's coming. Liverpool, baby, making their way back up. 4th spot. I smell Champions League football. Bellingham coming to Merseyside and Mason Mount. Let's get it. Sorry, Joe.
And
Bellingham's not going
and
to
maybe Alexis McAllister. I heard some talk about maybe Alexis McAllister going to Liverpool from Brighton. So
everybody that has a center midfielder name to their.
I'm telling you,
position
and that's
is linked.
if Liverpool removed their head from their ass and signed center midfielders, so we stop seeing that midfield pairing of Henderson and Milner at any point in this flipping game, they would be a perennial powerhouse in the Champions League.
If Liverpool want to make top 4, they have to put a line of 3. They have to put through line 3 in the back. You can't depend on Arnold and Gomez or whoever it is back there to defend that side. At least Van Dijk and Robertson look foolish. You need to put a line of 3. That way, you have the 2 wing backs, Robertson and Arnold. That will get the
Klopp is not going to change what he does. That dude is stagnant in his formations.
And put Fabinho and Thiago
on the
I'd
bench.
rather have Thiago run back and defend than Anderson playing.
Yeah, the fact that James Milner still gets like real minutes for them is
He starts damn near every game. It's insane. And you know, the last time they said somebody from Dortmund was going someplace else besides City, and I told y'all he was going to a certain location. Nobody believed me. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
is it 26 and 20?
It's a shit ton of goals. That's all that matters.
Wow.
But the sad thing is I think he's really underperforming.
Because Real Madrid didn't want
He's
the
not
problem
good.
with Mbappe.
Nor is City. They're not good, even though he's scoring a shitload of goals.
No. It's not.
No, that wasn't towards you. That was for the media and the pundits who were saying that there's a major issue at City.
I mean,
that's a topic for another show. It's 10:30 already.
Yeah.
I gotta watch Mandalorian at some point tonight.
Yeah. I can't watch it because I grounded my kid. So I can't watch it.
On that note.
You know, listen, we got Joe, Zach, Ron, Diego, Julio. We got to find a way to get you back on another show. That was fun, man. Introducing us to the further explanation of South American football culture. But this show is still going to be titled Chelsea Therapy. I want to see Chelsea Therapy morning on the YouTube.
I'm here for it.
I got
we
you.
need the Chelsea fans need Dr. Phil's help.
I hate it here.
I'm dead.
This is my favorite.
Long time ago.
Subscribe to the YouTube, notifications on Stoppage Time FC, the Facebook group. Football